and over a 19-year, 20-year coaching career, had some overtime victories, some really big games and some wins and some exciting ones, but never one where I guess you'd say if you really look back at it, and ESPN would tell you got a 1.7% chance of winning in the fourth quarter. But I think even more than the excitement and even more than the victory, I think the ability to feel so proud about what it is the guys did, how they continued to battle and fight, and but not just that, but their attitudes throughout the entire thing. With 6-7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, I really felt the momentum shift, and I really felt the change and the way we were starting to run the football, not just move the football, but run the football and gain some momentum from the sidelines with that. I just was worried that we didn't have a fifth quarter, and how could we get what we need to get done there, and only 6 minutes left to go in the game. But even more, like I said, even more than the excitement of the game, and obviously to come out with a win was how proud you are, or I am, of the way these kids handled it. And they continue to fight, and they continue to battle, and they stayed positive with one another, whether it was halftime, whether it was the end of the third quarter, whether it was 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. To see guys still picking one another up on the sidelines, being positive with them offensively, defensively, and special teams, I think that's what we have to build on. So great momentum, great growth, and I think it's a big part of where we continue to move with the program. So.
Question. You had two veteran guys, and Khalil and Devin kind of go through a little bit of struggles. How do you get that mentality back, stop them from pressing and trying to make everything happen at once?
Again, they just got to believe in what we're telling them, that guys are not going to let us down. And sometimes I think people start to hold on so much, and they've committed to a lot of things that we've done, and sometimes you worry that they don't want to let you down. Like your own kids at times. I don't want to let you down. No, you're not going to let me down. You drop a ball, it doesn't let me down. You quit trying, you quit practicing, you quit doing the things that you need to do to give us an opportunity. That's when we would get let down. But they got to believe in that. They got to feel the confidence that we have in them to continue to play, even if they drop a ball. I mean, the first thing I said when Devin dropped the football was, got on the headset of the joker, hey, get him back. Now, we need to have him back. You can't. It is what it is. It's over with. It's done. There's going to be more of them here come, in the future, whether it's just punt returns. But we got to find a way to get them back, to make sure they understand that they're not letting us down when something bad happens. They make a mistake, so they can, as we'd say, let it fly and play aggressive.
How big was it for Khalil that second half to get back out there?
He was the guy I think I noticed that just looked a little bit more in the rhythm and in the flow of things, and had the ability to catch the ball and go forward. And I don't know whether it was just like I said that something positive happens, you catch the ball, or you get in a situation where hey, you're down, and you stop worrying about not losing and just focus on trying to win. And I think that's that step that's that phase we're at with the program. I know I've been through it as a coach. When you're in a program where you win so much, and all of a sudden it's stopped from thinking about winning and start worrying about not losing. And we can't do that. When these guys have committed so much and now really kind of started to believe in the way we do things and how we do things, they are a fear of losing it. And that's whether it's a loss or that's a loss of what we think of them, or if we're proud or respect them, as opposed to just letting it go and being aggressive, believing in what you're doing. That's I think that hump, that step that we're at right now that we've got to continue to push to get better at.
What's Mike Boone's status?
I think he should be okay. We'll see. It's only this will be Tuesday practice. I'm not sure what we'll get out of him today, but I hope we see him out there today and he's ready to roll on Saturday.
Obviously, you're pleased with the two that were ending up.
I think they were the spark that really, people would talk about Khalil's catch and the touchdowns and things like that. Those are obviously plays we have to have, but those 4- and 5-yard runs that you saw from Jared Dokes and Michael Warren that really kind of changed the momentum is, all of a sudden their guys started getting wore out a little bit. You get a guy go down here and there, and those big plays are excitement, but those little 4 or 5, 6-yard runs where guys are one-on-one in a hole, and you see the strain and the struggle that they're fighting with. That picks up not just the offense, that picked up the defense, that picked up the special teams, that picked up the energy of our entire sideline.
How do you think Aiden has handled those drop passes?
It is, and it's difficult. And we've talked to him before the year started with both those guys about, hey, when things go well, we got to find a way to you as well as the head coach to find a way to push it to everybody else and celebrate and give the praise to others. And when things go wrong, we got to learn. We got to be able to handle it ourselves. We got to be able to accept it and take it, and not show the emotions and not get down on people, because it's no different. If all of a sudden the quarterback gets down on the receiver, he's going to feel like, oh my goodness, I'm on call every time, on trial every time, and now all of a sudden that's when they just, all they want to do is just grasp the ball and fall to the ground, as opposed to, hey, just like us as coaches, we believe in you, keep going. And again, those are those things that go through a quarterback's head, I'm sure, is, oh gosh, I got to make a perfect throw, when, it's all of us, understand we're not letting one, if he makes a bad throw, he's not letting us down. They drop the ball, he's not letting us down. We're going to continue to go to it and do the things that we got to do to be successful, but, they got to be able to handle it with themselves. And I think he's done a good job. I didn't see the body language. I didn't see the demeanor. I saw no palms in the air, all those things that I want to try to evaluate, even at halftime. Didn't see any of that.
Do you talk to those guys about the drops? I mean, they know they're not supposed to drop. Do you say anything to them?
Yeah, you do. But it's more positive. I mean, now on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to be all over them. And I think that's where you got to put the heat and the pressure on these guys, and make sure they know that we're counting on them, and their teammates are counting on them. But again, because we put the stress on to see if they can continue on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday with the pressure on to relax and be able to play, because Saturday, the pressure shouldn't come from us. The pressure shouldn't come from me. The pressure shouldn't be from us yelling at them on a sideline if you drop the ball. The pressure comes from everybody that's watching, that you want to do so well. So there's a balance there. But during game day, we got to get them back. They know we got confidence in them. We know they can catch the football. Now it's, again, them also believing in those things and relaxing a little bit so that they can play their best.
How was Ralph first start at right tackle? How did he grade out? How was his performance?
He did a good job. There was nothing, no negatives. I think that he gives us an opportunity to be a bit more physical at times, so it's been a while since I think Kyle's had an opportunity to not just to play, but to truly be in a situation, in a position where guys were counting on him. It's been a few years, and I think those are those things that I try to talk to him about. Being, he's a 21-year-old that's married, that can't act like a 19, 20-year-old that's a normal college student that's going to play maybe his first start in a long time. He's got to be a grown man, and we kind of talked to him about that. I talked to him about that on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I think he's handled it really well. You've kind of seen his demeanor change and some of the things that have changed throughout the entire week, and I think that that's what we got to do as a program and as a team, is continue to put expectations on them, to increase the expectations so they know what is expected of them. But again, that we also have confidence in them. So for the first time, he did a good job for us.
You're a defensive guy, a Navy offense. What does that do to you? That has to make you crazy.
Well, I think we're football coaches in general. Yes, I kind of had more of time on defense, but in general, I think that it's not just their offense that that makes them have the opportunity to be so good. They are unique. The triple option is just not something you see every single day. And, so for our guys to go against spring ball and fall camp and all those things, that even against Michigan, we don't see 22 personnel. We don't see two backs in the backfield. So those are unique things as well. The more unique thing about Navy is, it's so disciplined in what you're doing, and the ability for the slightest little thing to turn into big plays that guys have to. We always say effort overcomes all mistakes. Sometimes in Navy and those little things, it's tough with effort when you turn guys loose and you aren't disciplined in what you're doing. So I like to look at Navy as an opportunity for us to say defensively, this gives us an opportunity to focus on fundamentals and the things we do. It'll make us a better football team. No, we won't see triple option probably the rest of the year, but it'll make us a better defensive football team by being fundamentally sound, understanding what we're doing, and getting back to the basics to what we do.
Try to sprinkle, I guess, working against triple option during the spring or during off season?
We didn't do it in the spring. We did it in the summer. We introduced a bunch of it in the summer. Then in fall camp, every third day we would have a good section of doing some triple option stuff, and then we'd take some time at night when we were at higher ground, every third day to spend 15 minutes at night watching, talking it, so our kids weren't, when they walked in here on Monday morning, weren't surprised. They've never played them. So they didn't walk in here on Monday after an incredible victory and all the emotions and all that stuff of walking in and having no idea how we're going to play, what's going to be our base concepts to play in the triple option.
You named Kobe Bryant special teams MVP. How important are guys like him in
Well, I think they're all really important for us, but those guys we can't consider them freshmen. Yes, the first 3 or 4 games, they're still green and they're still young in what they're doing, but by that mid-season, they're not freshmen anymore, and we expect to get a lot out of them, whether that's special teams, whether that's offense, whether that's defense. But what we need to be able to see is some of these guys that have talent that you can put the pressure, you can put the expectation on them. Do we need to get them out there? It's not like, hey, we want to see if we can trust you on special teams. No, our best players are going to play. But when we feel like they've got the ability, we got to have the chance. We got to put them in there, and they got to just have attention to detail and understand that we're counting on them. So, from a week before, probably one of the greatest growths that we've had this year is him in the game before in the Michigan kind of got called out and maybe didn't do as good a job at some point in time with the kickoff coverage and the punt coverage, and then you see a kid that's mature enough to handle it and to respond the right way, come out and really end up being our special teams player of the week and did a phenomenal job the entire night. So you're seeing that maturing right in front of us, that hopefully we can consider him no longer a fresh. Some of those other guys as well, they're not freshmen anymore. They're ready to play for us.
How do you coach to fight against emotional letdowns, especially after you go to a big venue like the Big House, followed up by an emotional win against Miami on the road, looking ahead, playing a potentially frustrating offense? How do you coach persistence?
Again, we're so new and so young in our program. I mean, every week is kind of reiterating the expectations of what we're doing. We didn't put not that Miami wasn't a big game, and it's always a big game, and it's a rivalry game, but it wasn't something that, we spent all spring on or all fall camp on not because we didn't respect it, because the most important thing you can do about a rivalry is respect the rivalry, but it's the ability to say, hey, we have to focus on ourselves. We're still new and young and growing as a program, as a team, offensively, defensively, and special teams, that our focus is so much on ourselves that I think that hopefully we're not always worried about the highs and the lows, because we continue each and every week to have consistency in what we're doing, to focus back on ourselves, so that it's not, hey, we made the season because we beat our rival. So there's a balance there, and I think then you got to look at going into your first conference game. That's really where the focus has been when we talked throughout the spring ball. We didn't do it as much, but even in the fall camp, it was all about the league. When we get to that league, we got to be playing our best ball. We got to play our best ball at the end of the year, and the objectives that we need to do in order to do that, I think it gives you that opportunity to kind of hopefully avoid those emotional ups and downs and letdowns.
You're down very young for a half, so you stepped in.
Well, obviously it's a little bit different defensively this week, so we might have a little bit more by committee. So we might, we probably just have to fill in with Ty Sponseller and Jarrell Gilbert can move over and play over there a little bit too, as well as Jarrell White. So it's a little bit different in how you do things and structure things, but that's a big hit for us. I mean, especially in this game with guys that can really, really run and have a nose and an instinct for the football is something you really, you need, obviously when playing a triple option. He probably knows the other side of the ball a little bit better, but no. The great thing about this is for young guys like Jarrell, freshmen in general, our varsity guys have never played against this offense. So we go out there on Monday. Yes, we did some things in the fall camp, and even those freshmen. So those freshmen have had every bit as many looks at what it is that we're going to be doing on Saturday as Malik Clemens or Jalen Miner, who's been playing for 4 years. So those guys' ability to come in and help us in this situation, if they're disciplined in what they're doing, believe in what we're telling them, and can go out and practice it, I think those guys are going to be ones that are going to give us a great advantage for this week.
Aside from the fact that you don't see a triple option very often, what makes it so difficult? Should just put more pressure on the linebacker, defensive line?
No, again, it's discipline in everything you do. As a defensive lineman, take a peek at the first week. I mean, you get on 3rd and long, and what does every D lineman want to do? Get sacks. They pin their ears back, they run up the field, and first week the quarterback takes off and runs on you. I thought that's where our defensive line, you've seen the growth. We say, well, Cortez didn't have a sack or only had 1 sack, and no, you see the growth of them believing in what we're telling them, just like last week. It's not about rushing up the field and getting a sack on this guy. It's about how we constrict the pocket, making him throw from inside the pocket. It's doing the things that we expect you to do. No more important than this week in general. If our defensive ends have 0 tackles, it could be a really good game for us. It means they've squeezed and tackled some fullbacks and done a lot of unselfish things as opposed to those things that come up in the stats where they had 9 tackles and three tackles for loss. Yeah, but they also ran up the field and the fullback ran by them 14 times. So this makes us be a better defense. This makes us play unselfish football. This makes us believe in all the things that we talk about here as a program and what we have to do for one another in order to be successful.
Without playing a service academy team, is it any different? That's the kind of players that they have, the discipline that they have every day to do everything they do.
Again, I don't know. I mean, we respect the hell out of it, and for what they do, and we brought that up on Monday just to make sure we understand that there's some things, and I've never played there, but obviously there's some traditions and some things that we just got to be aware of. But all in all, when that ball's kicked off, it's man against man. I mean, you know, they're not going to pull any punches, and I surely know that we're not. But knowing your opponent, I think, is very important. No more different than last week. I mean, you got to know your opponent, meaning you got to know what it means to them as well. We got to know our opponent. We got to know what they thrive on and what gives them an opportunity to be successful. It's not just the triple option. You know, it's the discipline, it's the way they play, it's the toughness they play with. You know, and if we can't match that and exceed that, then yeah, we'll struggle.
We talked a lot about the triple option, excuse me, and their offense. Defensively, what did they do? I mean,
They actually, from what our guys, they've you know upgraded their skill in what they do. You know, they're a 3-4 team. They're going to pressure from all different angles. But notoriously, I mean, again, I played them, I think 3 or 4 years ago, and I think that they've upgraded this, the personnel-wise, the speed they have on defense is a lot better than what I remember from the past. So I think that allows them to be more aggressive. You know, now again, they have those issues too. They see the triple option probably every day. So there's things that they do that that they might not see that we do. So there's things they have to prepare for as well. But I think the biggest thing is you look at them, they're an aggressive defense. They've upgraded their skill levels, so it allows them to play some more man and be more aggressive.
offensively, you kind of picked and chosen when you go up tempo and speed play. I agree with you. I thought they were on a little bit back on their heels, and you guys really kind of went through there in the fourth quarter and conceded it. But in all 3 games, you've had good drives when you've done that. Is that something you kind of pick your moment? Is that something that
Well, again, they would probably prefer to do that a bunch more, and we also, as a program, got to have a philosophy too. So sometimes defensively, there's some things we want to do, but hey, as a program, we got to do this, this, and this, and we can't just be, trying to wing it and go up tempo and go 100 snaps every game when that doesn't fit what we need to do the best. So the ability to have balance, the ability to be able to do both, the ability to be able to mix it up, I think, is where we know we want to be. And when things are rolling and things are going well, you're right. It can give you a great advantage. When you get down, in some 2-minute situations and things like that, you are built that way. So those are things that we got to be able to take advantage of. And I think that's one of those things we saw on Saturday night, is that our guys even feel a little bit more comfortable in some of those up-tempo situations because maybe it goes back to a little bit more basics.